So if you don't like this video, are you just gonna not recommend it to anybody?
It's not my decision.
Hello, insiders. I am Rene Ritchie, your friendly neighborhood creator liaison. And today we are talking to Todd Beaupre. Todd, what is it that you do at YouTube?
So I lead the growth and discovery team.
So there's a couple outliers that I often hear from creators. And one of them is they have a channel, they're doing a certain kind of video, and then they just decide to do another kind of video and it takes off. It blows up, it becomes viral. They get so many views from it, they start to worry that it's going to distort how the algorithm sees their audience.
Yeah, so I think it's important to understand that for the most part, the algorithm for discovery is focused more on individual videos than like trying to come up with some comprehensive average performance of a channel. Similar to how you don't want your videos to be shown to the wrong viewers such that they won't engage and it'll hurt your performance. We don't want to be showing the wrong videos to the wrong viewers either. And so we try as much as possible to understand that video's audience. Obviously, if there's high demand for that topic, and you choose not to make videos on that topic more, then maybe you won't continue to have that outsized performance. That's something you just need to decide based on what your interests are and what the audience interests are, and find the best match for you.
So I don't need to go through and delete all those videos.
No, I wouldn't recommend deleting those videos because there will be a subset of that audience who will be interested in your other content. Yeah, generally I wouldn't advise deleting videos because I think you're just removing opportunities at that point.
Because I was afraid of this at first too, that if I do one bad video, it begins like the downward spiral of my channel. But it sounds like you're not going like based on a channel and the creator, but more on those video by video basis.
Yeah, if your last video wasn't so great and your next video is great, we want to realize the potential of each video. Yeah, we wouldn't want the system to just decide, oh, one bad video, this channel is not able to create anything, because that's not the reality.
Next video could be the best video in the history of YouTube.
It could.
One of the other things that you said to me that really, really changed my perspective on YouTube was that YouTube does not push videos for creators. YouTube pulls videos for viewers. Could you share that?
A lot of creators, their kind of interaction with YouTube is they make a video and then they upload it, and then out from the system they get impressions and views and things like that. So I think it's natural for creators to think of like, oh, well, I give YouTube my video and then YouTube pushes my video out to a bunch of people. But it's actually more the reverse. So yes, you upload your video to YouTube, but what triggers a viewer seeing an impression of your video isn't some, YouTube plan that says, oh, look, here's a new video from Rene. I'm gonna give this to 10,000 people and then see what happens. That's not how it works.
Mailbox where Todd is storing all the videos.
Yeah. Instead, what happens is we don't calculate recommendations until a viewer actually appears on YouTube. So they open up the app or they open up the YouTube homepage. It's at that moment that the recommendation engine is engaged. And the challenge that the recommendation engine is given is, given this viewer who's coming to YouTube from this type of device at this time of day with this history of videos they've watched before, what are the best videos that we could show them right now? And so we are very centered on that viewer and finding the best videos for that viewer.
That also ties into something else you told me, which I really loved, and that is the algorithm doesn't give up on videos, so creators shouldn't give up on them either.
Yeah, I see creators focusing so much often on their real-time analytics.
Like immediate.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, you spend a lot of effort to like make a video, you want it to, reach as many people as possible, and you're looking at it, and I'm always hearing from creators talking about, oh, this video was a 9 out of 10, and and they're just kind of down about it. What I often try to say to creators to reassure them is like, how many times have you seen where a video started out as maybe a 9 out of 10, 9 out of your last 10, but then, a few weeks later, it ended up being a 5 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10. So while I understand the focus on wanting to get the immediate excitement from the audience when you upload it, one of the great things about YouTube is we don't limit recommendations to just videos that have been uploaded this week, for example. And so over time, there's always going to be more opportunities for your video to get, connected again if there's like renewed interest or just kind of a different trend flows through the ecosystem. Sure, look at your early data. Maybe if something's underperforming to your expectations, consider whether you might package it better, the better thumbnail that conveys the value of the video, or better title. But realize that the ultimate success of that video isn't always determined in the first 24 hours.
There's this other concept that creators have sometimes about the algorithm being punitive. Like your channel starts to get fewer views, or you take a break, that suddenly you're put in the recommendation penalty box, so to speak. I'm sure that's something that you hear often. How do you address that when creators bring it up?
We want to get every video out to the audience that would be most interested in it. We don't want to be putting in logic in the recommendation system that draws the wrong conclusions about a video that just came out. And so we want to be led by the audience. And so we aim to not overemphasize historical data if that data isn't particularly predictive of each video. And so that's why we tend to lean more on the per video, performance and feedback, than try to come up with these penalty boxes for channels. We don't want there to be a player in the penalty box when they could have been scoring goals, right? And so we really try not to add those sorts of rules and enable videos to freely find their audiences.
I've heard you talk about the algorithm follows the audience, but do creators have to think about that as well, like reinvention and updating and trying new formats? Do creators have to follow the audience as well?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think Shorts is an interesting case study in this space. A lot of creators, they may say oh, well, YouTube is pushing Shorts on viewers and YouTube wants Shorts to be more successful than long form. That's not why YouTube has focused on Shorts. YouTube is focused on Shorts because audiences have led us there. They've told us that they want more videos that are more efficient and get to the point faster. They want more entertaining participatory content. And we see them, audiences voting with their behavior of the apps they're using to get that content. And we feel obligated to offer that to the audiences. And we want audiences that want Shorts to be able to find them. But also, if an audience member is happy with long form, we want them, to find that easily as well. So that's an example of YouTube following the audience as the competitive landscape changes. As a creator, I would recognize that there is a lot of attention, some of which is shifting from long form to short form, some of which is new opportunities, to recognize that as part of their content strategy. And then within a format, there are also dynamics. There's creators who might say, hey, I've been doing this same content for a couple years now and it's not performing as well anymore. And sometimes I'll look into, work with them and encourage them to look at their audience tab and see, well, what are some other channels your audience is watching? And we'll find that, oh, there's a new channel that came out in this that's also serving the audience. And, that channel wasn't around 2 years ago. And now you have to recognize that there's a bit of supply and demand going on. And when there's, more supply, with the same amount of demand, you may get less views. And then you got to figure out, well, where is there unserved demand that you can maybe tap into? Or where can you deliver better on the demand that you started with? If creators looked at their content strategy similar to any small business or business that's trying to figure out, well, how do I maximize my revenue? I think about things like market share and competition and things like that. So those dynamics are very relevant in the YouTube ecosystem as well.
I make a video and then I see someone else has made a video that to me feels really similar, but they get 10 times the views that I get. Or maybe the topic I see gets tons and tons of views, but I'm not getting them. When you hear about those kinds of things, what are some things you look at to understand performance?
One of the things that I'll look at and encourage creators to look at on their videos is how did the viewers who saw impressions of the video in the subscriptions feed react? Because that feed, it doesn't have any special recommendations algorithms. It's pretty much always the people going into the subscriptions feed. You could go into traffic sources, browse features, and then subscriptions. And most of the time when I do that, I find that videos that underperform also underperform when they're shown to subscribers in that feed, which suggests to me that it's some issue with the content or the way the content was packaged. You could also look at the average view duration for that audience. That subscriptions feed offers a bit of a control over other variables that can lead click-through rates to, for example, go down with a broader audience.
I think sometimes too, like when I look at those videos, I see that they're topically or structurally the same, but the feeling I get from them are very different. And that's not always as easy to measure.
Yeah, it's hard to measure, and viewers can be finicky and quirky, and it's sometimes hard to understand why some things are successful when similar things are not. I think this is something that's always been the case with media, even before YouTube.
Todd, thank you so much. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, please leave them down below and then keep it real.